Hi everyone, it's Erin from EB Mixed Media, and today I am really excited to share with you a new release of stamps from joggles.com, and these are my fabulous floral stamps. There are 6 total, and I was going to share these with you and show you how I made these with watercolors today. So just to go through these really quickly, the first one is Bachelor Button, and all of the stamps come with a sentiment. They come with sort of a background stamp, a border stamp, a stem, and 1 or 2 leaves. And what's fun about them is if you buy more than one, you can actually mix and match the leaves and the stems and the backgrounds to get totally different looks for each of your flowers so that they can look different all the time and you're not just stuck with one floral. The other fun thing is you can have them tilting either way, either right or left. So for example, this is tilting left and this one is tilting right, but simply by turning the stem upside down, you can shift them and have them turn different ways. So there's a lot of mix and matching with these that can make them all unique and different. And I think that's a really fun aspect. So just to show you again, this is the Bachelor Button right here. This is a coneflower. I love my coneflowers. This is a daylily here. Let's see what else. We have the rustic daisy. We have a poppy. And this one I am calling a summer bloom. Not sure what it is. All right, so let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna stamp these all out onto watercolor paper. So I've got my stamps here. I've also got a couple sizes of acrylic blocks. These are for stamping blocks. And I need a large one for the actual floral. That's quite large to fit on. And then I use the smaller one for the smaller pieces. You could use this one for everything. For ink, I like to use Ranger's archival inks. They are acid-free, permanent, and waterproof. So when you add another medium on top of your stamp, the ink does not run. All right, let's get started.
I hear the beat. It's in my chest. Got me feeling some kind of way. I confess the rhythm takes over. No room to rest. My heart's dancing. It's a love conquest. Oh, the melody. Smooth and sweet, like honey dripping from a golden bee. It's the soundtrack to my soul's heat, making me move from my head to my feet. My heartbeat, yeah, it's pumping so loud. It's the rhythm of love, baby, that I found when the music plays. I just can't help but sway. Nothing else matters. It's my heart that obeys. Lost in the sound, my worries fade. Every note, every chord, a serenade with each beat of the drum. My spirit's unchained in the symphony of love. I am unafraid, yeah. It's pumping so loud. It's the rhythm of love, baby, that I found when the music plays. I just can't help but sway. Nothing else matters.
Okay, I have my cards all printed out here on watercolor paper, and I have a palette over here with a variety of colors and a fresh clean glass of water, a round brush, and a paper towel. So let's get started. I'm gonna wet my brush, and I want to do sort of a blue-green kind of color. Oops, that's too much. This palette might not be big enough for all of my colors. Maybe I was a little ambitious in putting them all out in one go. Let's just see how this goes. So I'm gonna start pretty light because you can always add more. And I'm just pulling that little bit of color out through the floral. So it's not a lot of color. And I'm not even going all the way to the edges. I'm not making sure I cover every little bit. I think that makes it look as if there's some highlights on the floral. Now I'm going to go back in and just add a little darker blue at the base. And maybe grab some of this green as well to put in there to get more of a blue-green turquoise. And I want to get that same deep color in the center of the flower. And maybe a little on the sides, here and there, suggesting some depth. Okay, let's let that dry a little bit and we'll work on our stem. We hardly need anything for this. I've got kind of a tree green color and an olive green that I thought, I could mix together and see how that looks. Let's add a little yellow ochre in there to get more of a grello. Yeah. Got a relatively dry brush doing this stem here. I could probably use a smaller brush, but. And just to tie in a bit, I think it might be fun to add a touch of that blue. Although it's turning green as I put it in the wet. There we go. And that's really all we need to do. If we want to go back and add a little more of that dark blue at the base, we can. But I find with these less is more sometimes, and don't overwork it. All right, let's set that aside. All right, this is a poppy, so why don't we do it in a red? I've got a color, I think this is called vermilion. Oh, that's kind of almost got an orange cast to it. So once again, I'm just gonna put some deepest color at the base, and then with basically just water on the brush, pull it out to the rest of the floral. And I'm by no means a watercolor expert at all, pretty much self-taught. And I just like to play, and that's what I would encourage you to do. This isn't rocket science for these. We're not trying to get totally realistic florals here, right? We're just, I'm gonna put some more of the dark in that center area. And let's go back, and this is, I think this one's called Scarlet, and it's got, well, it's not as, it's got a little more pink in it, I think. All right, let's go ahead and do our stem and our leaf here. I think I'll mix that up with some more of the yellow, get a little more grello color. Yeah. And I think, again, this could be nice with just a tad of the turquoisey blue. Dropped in. Okay, easy. All right, this is the coneflower. Let's make this sort of a neutral. I'm gonna start over here with, I think this is sienna. It could be burnt sienna, I'm not sure. I'm gonna start with that in the center. And again, I'm not being really careful to go all the way to the edge and fill in the entire area. I think, again, less is more. I'm dropping in some of a darker brown. And then for the rest of this, if we're making it kind of neutral, I've got just barely a little bit of that brown on the hair. And mostly water. And even if I just tap into that color a little and pull it down, you get just a lovely kind of neutral effect. Just a hint of color. Which I think is so beautiful. Love that. That's all I would do on that, except for the stem. But that's all I would do on the actual floral. And there we go. Okay, how about our daylily? I'm feeling like this should be a bright color, maybe an orange. So I've got cadmium orange and a yellow orange here. Let's start with the lighter. And again, I'm gonna put the dark color in the center and then pull out to the edges with just mostly water, just getting a lighter color. You can always go darker, but with watercolor you can't. It's hard to lighten it up once you put it down. So I like to think about where the darker colors would be, where the shadows would be on this. And obviously in the center, it's going to be more shadowed. But on this one also, this underside here is probably going to be shadowed because the petals are sort of hanging in front of it and blocking the light. Here we've got like a little, the leaf is sort of folded over on itself, and then where it's turned under here in these little bits, those could be darker. Might be darker here. And then getting lighter towards the end of the petals. Let's see how that looks when it dries, if we want to do anything more with it. Now this one, I think, because orange and blue are complementary colors, it's kind of nice to drop a little more of that blue in here to pop against that orange. That might have been a little too much. We can pick it back up. We'll see how that looks when it dries. If it needs some touch-ups. Okay. Now we've got a daisy. So again, I'm going to go in with this sienna color for the center. And we'll drop in a little of the brown. As well. And then I've got some yellow ochre here. Let's see. So it looked like to add a little of the orange. Ooh, that's a nice contrast. I like that. I feel like this isn't yellow enough. Let's grab some cadmium yellow and see if we can't make it a little more yellow and a little less orange. Yeah. Much better. Much more what I was thinking. Although I do like having that darker orange under there. I think it gives it a little more depth and interest. So I think I'll go back in and add a little of that after I've okay. And then finally we have the bachelor button. And our stamp is a little lighter in this one, but we can fix that later. I'm gonna do some pink for this. Let's start with, I think this is called Red Rose. So let's start with that. And again, I'm going dark in the center and then just pulling that color out. with water. Let's do some of this. I think it's the vermilion. What does that? No, I wanted more of an orange. Let's try this. Yeah. Added some magenta there to get us back to the pink. That's fun. Okay, and again with our leaves. Oh, I just noticed here where when I stamped, I didn't touch the stem with my leaves. So I'll just draw that in there. There we go. So these are dry now, and you could leave them as is. They look fine, but I like to add a little pizzazz using either some of my Posca pens, jelly pens in different colors, or adding some white or gold accents. So let's see what we can do here. This one especially, I feel like needs something, and I do like to do the yellow with the pink. I think that makes such a nice contrast. Now, if these lines are bothering you where the stamp sort of caught on the textured paper, you could certainly go back in with your black pen and fill them in so that they are a little starker. I don't necessarily think you need to do that, but you can. The other fun thing I like to do on this one in particular for some reason is to go through with my gold and actually outline all of these. I think it can just look really great. There. You can even go back in and add a few more dots with the white for a pop of contrast. That's cute. This one, I don't think it needs much. I always like to go over, are these the stamens? I don't know what they're called. I like to go over those just to make them pop a little bit more. And the watercolor has kind of dulled our black line, so I just sort of add that back in. Just so that center part pops. That looks good. I don't know if I would do anything to this except maybe enhance these black dots with my Posca, just so they pop a little more. That looks great. This one I think would be fun to just put some white on here as a contrast. This one I don't think I would do a thing to. I love it. And this one we could also maybe do white here. I don't know, that doesn't really show up very well though, does it? Let's try the yellow instead. Could do the yellow, or you could do gold. That could be really pretty too. So that just gives you an idea. If you want to take it one step further, I think this could be mounted onto a card and look really, really pretty with a sentiment here. This could be another one that could be mounted onto a card as is, I think. There's some smudging on the pages, so I would probably cut those out and use them just as the floral. So just to demonstrate one way you could use these, I just mounted this to a piece of cardstock, folded in half. So this is a 10 by 7 piece of cardstock. This is about a 4 by 6, and that allows you to fold it into a 5 by 7. And then I just used the happiness sentiment and put that on here on the card. So that is one option. Another option, again, I have a piece of folded cardstock, and I am going to once again use one of the stamps in the set to embellish the cardstock. So I've got the stamp on my stamping block, and I have some Ranger Archival ink in leaf green. And I'm just gonna stamp a pattern all over this card. And what's fun again is you can turn the stamp around in order to have it fit, or to get a little bit different pattern with each one you do. And it's fine to have some gaps. It's a pattern, but it's a random pattern, right? Oh, I just smudged that one. I think that'll hopefully be covered up by the card. We shall see. I think this is one of my favorite background stamps of all of the Fabulous Florals stamps. I just think it makes a really cool background. Okay, now I'm going to take my card and I'm going to place it with a glue stick right onto this folded piece of paper. Oops. Sometimes when I want to press down, when I'm gluing something, I like to use one of these deli papers over the top of it so that I don't smear what's ever on my hands onto the card. And then I'm going to take this gratitude sentiment and I'm going to stamp that in black. Right onto the front. Let's make sure I have enough. There, I think that makes a really cute card. So there you go. I hope that gave you some inspiration on creating some beautiful flowers with watercolors and ways that you can use these stamps to create a project, in this case, a card. If you are interested in these stamps, you can find them at joggles.com. Again, it's a collection of 6 different stamps. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back again soon with another video. In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram. That's EB Mixed Media, EB_Mixed Media. Thanks, everyone. Bye.